I found a cat. Hi, cute cat. Kind of brief summary of the things that happened. On day 5, I was able to make it to my food drop. I timed it perfectly. I quickly realized that my food supply drop had too much food in it. It was heavy and it was a hot mess. I went over Little Boardman Mountain. I got to this really cool view and, you know, talked a little bit with, you know, the whole gang. They had stopped for like a coffee break. I wanted to make it to a campsite for lunch and just chill and eat and rest before starting up again. My pinky toe was hurting pretty bad. I had put moleskin on it and it just kind of pushed the blister like this part of my toe. It got bigger and bigger and my feet were still pretty wet. About lunchtime when I stopped, I was kind of evaluating it. It just felt weird and I didn't have any feeling in that skin. So I was like, okay, great. Well, that skin is dead. I took my knife and I poked a hole in it. Tried to cut as much of the dying skin off as I could. I alcohol wiped it to sanitize it, put some antibiotic ointment on there and a Band-Aid. Every single lunch, I will switch my socks. So I try and keep a dry pair of socks on throughout the day. I air my feet out at lunch. I air my shoes out at lunch. I was really struggling at the end of the day going up that final hill, the first half of Whitecap Mountain. It wasn't fun. I ended up showing everybody at camp. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I've done everything in my medical knowledge to help this thing, but it just seems like whatever I do, whatever I did, kept getting worse and worse and worse. Luckily, Biodiesel is a nurse. I could not trim the rest of the dying skin off. The whole team really pulled together and was going through their med kits. Kate, or Big Cat now, she had these little baby scissors and tweezers. Biodiesel sanitized. Nick and Liza had Q-tips so Biodiesel could apply the antibiotic ointment again. And we were just trying to figure out ways to help it heal. So I had suggested, you know, trimming up the skin, getting that new skin, that live skin room to regrow, cleaning it up, sanitizing it, putting the antibiotic ointment on. I had a little non-woven thing of gauze, so we put that over my toe. I have latex gloves, so we cut a finger off and tried to put it on my toe and tape the bottom, try and protect it a little bit. After all that, it did feel a lot better. It was still a little sore to walk on, but yeah, this is what it looks like. It wasn't fun. So thank you everybody that pulled through and helped me through that. My toe was super inflamed too. It's becoming apparent that I was having these issues I've never had before. I didn't really like my setup very well. My hammock setup, my hammock tarp could be set up 2 different ways, but the one way was too long and the other way was too short, and like I made it work, but you know, then I missed my underquilt. Every time I would touch the side of the hammock, it would be cold, but sweating because my sleeping quilt was fantastic. I'm actually in it right now. So a lot of the nights I was sleeping in the shelter. There's no wind going under me. It sucked because the bugs, the mosquitoes, I had to wear my face net, but and even still, like I could hear them buzzing around my ear. It would wake me up. Sometimes my face net would be on my head and they could still like bite me through. So, I mean, it had its own difficulties. For warmth, it was kind of worth it. Day 6, we finished climbing up Whitecap. It was beautiful. I walked up and I turned around and I wanted to cry. You could see everything. You could see Katahdin. You could see everything that we did before. I took a picture by the sign. We had to go up like 3 or 4 peaks to get to the next shelter. It was about like 7 miles, so it was a short day. The downhills were the roughest part. All the pressure would go on my toe. I got to the shelter, evaluated my toe again. It was still getting worse. I decided then that I wasn't going to cover it anymore. Covering it was part of the problem. Usually when you're regrowing skin, you want to keep it moist so it won't leave a bad scar. It heals quicker, but you keep it too moist, it does the opposite. And that's what was happening. It's just making it worse. People wanted to go on further, and I said, I'm gonna stay here. It was nice. It was a very welcomed rest day. My muscles felt so much better the next morning. Every day since biodiesel trimmed it up and sanitized it and everything, and like it kept getting better after that. It was still a little red and a little inflamed, but other than that, it was getting better. Also, that day was the first day that I had dry clothes. I only have this shirt and my capris. Like, it's all I have to hike in.
Don't look at me like that, man.
I
see you. Good boy.
Day 7, unintentional 15-mile day. And I'll tell you why. The original plan was like maybe 11 miles. There were reports of thunderstorms coming in. It was also the point where we were going over 3 mountaintops. Me, Nick, Liza, and Real Bill made the executive decision to push further and get as far over the mountains as we could before the storm hit. And we got pretty far. My calves were screaming at me. My feet were all tingly. It was, like 6 extra miles to get to the other shelter. So we were like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. But those mountain climbs are no joke. Straight up, straight down, and then up, and then down, and then up, and then down. And by the third, honestly, it was the 4th, because there's like a baby peak in between 3rd mountain and 4th mountain. It's like 3.5. And by the end of 4th mountain, we had like 1.5 miles to go, I think. We were all just dead. It was 7 o'clock. The sun sets at 8. It was already starting to get gloomy. There was supposed to be some thunderstorms that night too, so we found a stealth campsite, filled up on water. I did not feel comfortable being in my hammock during a thunderstorm. I've camped in thunderstorms before, but never in a hammock, and I just didn't feel safe with it. So Real Bill was gracious enough to let me stay in his tent with him. I thought that the shelter was the best sleep that I ever got, but honestly, sleeping in that tent was the best sleep I ever got in the entire 100 miles. I don't know why, but it was. We had one more mountain to get over, so we woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, got over that last mountain, which was a good thing too, because at the top of it had like old fire tower or something, so you definitely didn't want to be under that during the thunderstorm. We were shooting for the shelter at the very bottom of the mountain. We got there at 9:30, had plenty of time to kill, and the storms actually didn't start until noon. We all had something hot to eat, something hot to drink. I took a nap. Original Bill, caught up to us actually and hung out with us, waited out the storm. Hadn't seen him in a while because he was off stealth camping. And then a no-bower came, and his name was Andante, and he said it's Italian for slow, because he's a slow walker. As we were doing that big push, a little bit regretted the decision once it all came into play. I was like, yes, You know, the night before that big push, I did one of my tarot card readings, and I had asked it, like, what do I need to know for tomorrow? And it came up with the strength card. And I 100% believe that it was talking about that moment that I needed to find the strength to push those big miles and get over those mountains before the thunderstorms. I love tarot cards. Just accurate. I had also asked it, you know, if I will make it. And I meant make it all the way, like, through the AT. And I drew a 6 of Swords. I don't think it was answering the AT as a whole. I think it was answering that day. With the 6 of Swords, the picture is a witch has the 6 swords in a backpack on her back, representing, you know, only taking the essentials. And she's on her broom with 2 hooded figures in front of her. And the card itself is like, you know, you don't know if you're taking those strangers or if they are taking you, helping you. But either way, you're doing it together. You're in it together. You're taking the bare essentials and you're going on this journey. I fully think that it was talking about that big push. I would not have been able to do that without them. There's a lot of times where I was like, just leave me here to die. I wanted to stop, but they kept pushing me. A big reminder of the danger being on top of a bald where you are the tallest thing during a thunderstorm. You have to pay attention to that. You know, people die. Something to think about. We waited out the storm, and then after that, we just had 5 more miles to get to the next shelter. So there were quite a few fording episodes where I had to cross streams and stuff. And that was probably my favorite things to do. I don't know, it was just fun. If I could rock hop it, I would, but usually I would just put my sandals on and then go through it. I don't know why I thought it was so fun. It's not something that I've really ever done. Gosh, what day are we on? Day 8? I don't even know. I guess actually, oh yeah, no, that was when we woke up super early. That was day 9. Then day 10, we hiked 10 miles into Highway Route 15 or whatever in Maine and got picked up by Shaw's hiker hostel. Day 9 was the day that we hit 100 miles. So took a picture. I was so excited. And then day 10 did the last little stretch. About 1.5 miles out, I started to hear the cars. All of the pain in my feet were ignored. It was still like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. The last day was harder for whatever reason. But yeah, the last 1.5 miles, I started hearing the cars on the highway. I flew down the trail. I was like, get me to town. I'm ready for my cheeseburger, a big, fat, juicy, melty cheeseburger. Oh, and I got it. Best believe I got it. It was so good. I got it at the Lakeshore House. Shout out to them. They were really good. I had the best crab rangoon that I've ever had. So, yeah, that was the 100-mile wilderness. I've been at Shaw's Hiker Hostel for a couple of days now. I'm stepping off trail to go to a bachelorette party. It's a 2-day bus ride. I bought a new backpack, a lighter backpack, like maybe less than 2 pounds versus my 4-pound backpack. I sent my hammock stuff home and I'm going to be switching to a tent. I switched out my hang rope for my bear bag. Kept getting tangled. I didn't want to deal with it. I just tied it to trees, which with the Ursack you can do. I tie 5 knots in that thing. I got a wind shell, a really light pair of rain pants for the whites. Resupplied with some food. Found some beef sausage. Fattened my tortillas with some cheese. I got my AT hiker tag. Look at it. So I got that on my new backpack. Shaw's does this amazing breakfast. They make you 3 eggs, 3 slices of bacon, half a plate of potatoes, and then they bring out stacks upon stacks upon stacks of blueberry pancakes, and you can eat all you want. And they have orange juice and coffee and tea. Potatoes were banging. The pancakes are as big as your face. I watched a movie with some people, ate blueberries, drank some really depressing blackberry wine. This town is so small, there's 2 or 3 restaurants and I've eaten at every one. And then you've got the gas station that makes you pizza. I didn't get the pizza, but I did get mozzarella sticks and mac and cheese, which is pretty on par for gas station food. I had bought like a quart of milk. I craved a cold glass of milk on the trail, so I drank half of the quart of milk. I befriended the hostile cat. My goal was to get it on my lap, and it happened today. The cat sat on my lap and I was able to touch it. It was so cool. I have today, tomorrow, they're taking me to the bus station on Wednesday. Yeah, today's Monday. Yeah, I have no idea what day it is anymore. I've met some really cool people, some no-blowers. There's a guy that's yo-yoing, which he started south, he's coming up north, and then he's gonna turn right back around and come back south, down south. He's like working along the trail to get money. I don't know, it's just, this is so cool to be out here. I do miss my kid and like my family and friends and pets and everything, but it is a different culture out here. I've met so many people. I'm not that shy person that I usually am at home that like doesn't go up to new people to talk to them. It's usually like, hey, what's your name? Nobo Sobo, what's your story? And that usually gets everyone to, like, I don't know, we just instantly bond over things. It's great. I did get a trail name. It has officially become Oasis. That name came about because we were trying to play off a water name, because anyone that knows me knows that I love water. I am always in it. I am swimming. I am by it. I like whatever. If I'm not sitting in it or swimming in it, dunking in it, washing off in it, whatever, I'm usually sitting by it, soaking my feet, jumping around in it. Nick, who is Camp, he officially gave me the name Oasis. It like just fits. We all notice little bougie things that just fit, like me making everything my own oasis. I was on a rock. It felt like I was the Little Mermaid, like seeing part of your world. Liza was like, yep, that tracks with your name. Trail names are funny. They could be anything. They could come from anywhere. You can call me Oasis now. Very royal, very regal. I guess this is it for a while. If you want to sponsor my hike in any way, and what I mean by that is like if you want to buy me a burger, a beer, buying groceries for supplies, fuel canisters, box of cheese, my PayPal and Venmo info are in the description. I'm trying to read this book. It's like it's a murder mystery, which is on par for my likes. It's kind of interesting, actually. It follows this reporter and detective that used to be a thing, and he was a bad boy, and now he's a Christian man, and this grandma was killed on Christmas Day. It's kind of cheesy, but what are you gonna do?
30 grams of dextrose and 30 grams of table sugar. So my post-recovery drink at the end of the day.
Check out these dogs. See who's partying.
Maybe crash some parties.
Crash some parties. Hiker party.
He seems like a responsible person to do that.
Exactly.
Front there, you can kind of lean on the fucking canoe, back, side.
Hit with the fat of your hands and hit it hard
You sure
and
that's
fast.
low? You sure that's high enough?
It's-
Oh!
Do it.
Oh, nice. nice.
There it is.
Look on his face when he landed, but it was like a.
I think I pulled my.
Did I? Am I?
We're doing towards each other, then we're gonna battle in the middle.
No, dude.
I don't really compete either.
I want to like hold hands.
Unless we're
I
like,
want to like do stuff where we like skip and stuff like that. If I get into competitions, this makes me look bad because I fucking suck about everything.
yeah, right. Yeah, right.
You know it's true.
Yeah, right. We get to flipping eggs in the morning. You'll beat my ass at that, man. I'm breaking the fucking yolk and shit.
I got a lot of practice.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
I'll take it easy on you next time.
No, fuck.
I got a little too hasty on that one. It's like slacklining with Thor. I was going pretty good, man. I might be just beyond that point where you're really good at everything when you're a little drunk. You know what I'm talking about? It's like bowling
You're just a
and
little too
pool.
drunk
You're like,
and
oh,
you
you're
just
on the zone, and then all of a sudden you have that one more beer, and you're like, all over.
It's like 3D chess going on. I can't watch your feet. I'm looking at
Dude,
mine.
my feet are beautiful.
Oh, yeah, right.
And look at my legs.
Got some fucking
I got the legs of a simple
overs
dancer. Here,
Look at that. They're like Shrek.
all right. Damn, that was low.
Oh, you beat me on that one.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not a competition. I'm going for the gold, bro. The middle. It's the middle is where it's at. I'm not as flexible as I used to be.
That's what hippie chick told me.
Dude, I thought Kama Sutra was like...
I knew that would get you. He's doing better with his whole family watching now.
What? I can't hear you anymore.